And now, Gunners technical director Edu has slammed ageing players at Arsenal who were slowing the club down. Ozil, Aubameyang, Socrates, Kolasinac, Mustafi were some players.
He's in Lion King, isn't he?
Eh? No. Mustafi.
What's the phrase?
Mustafi. There was an R in there. Were some players that had their contracts
right.
paid up to get them out the door. By the way, Ray, you had a bit of a whisper and a chat with Edu, didn't you? But this is what you had to say to the Sun when a player is 26 or older, has a big salary and he's not performing, he's killing you. In the past, 80% of the squad had those characteristics. There was no chance anyone would buy them. They didn't have a transfer value and are comfortable on a long contract living in beautiful London. We needed to clean up the squad and we had to pay some to go. I consider it an investment. It's not a problem if the player has a big salary and performs. Ray,
yes.
Were you surprised, Edu, or is he just
he's totally right.
Now?
He's totally right. I mean, there was a lot of dead wood in the squad. Mustafi, as you mentioned there, Kolasinac, who was there, Ozil, and there's a little clique. They're all hanging around together, and he wasn't good for the dressing room. So you've got to. There's certain times when you have to make big decisions as clubs and say, right, I've got to write a cheque. We don't want to write a cheque to get rid of a player, but we have to because he's upsetting the dressing room, and that's what they did. What I see now is a good young squad of players. Now it's important they keep that young squad together because people like Man City are going to come in maybe for Saka or the best players at Arsenal and try and influence away. But if they can keep the squad they've got, they can only get better. I think Arteta's doing a great job at the moment.
What was Edu like when you played one? Was he a leader?
Top player. Yeah, very good player. Very good player. Obviously, he's negotiating. He knows the Brazilian players very well. That's why Jesus maybe certainly is an influence in signing Jesus and Gilberto Silva as well, a Brazilian players who play for Arsenal. But that's the sort of players you want to be bringing into your club, who are winners, aren't they? I mean, their mentality. He's won 4 Premier Leagues. Zinchenko has won 4 Premier Leagues.
Do you know what?
So that's only going to be good for it's going to be good for the other teammates around them to say, look, come on, this is what we got. This is the standard we got set. This is what we did at Manchester City. Whether the players are good enough as Manchester City is a different
Did
ball.
Smith Rowe lose his form a wee bit towards the end of the season?
He had a few injuries, Al, but when he's fit, he's brilliant. A little bit like Tierney. When he's fit, he's going to be a great player, but he's had his injury problems as well. Partey, they had a lot of injuries last year, and it ain't going to be easy next year because you're playing Europa League, so you're going to be playing 2 games a week instead of 1 to recover.
Ray, I know you can't say a lot because you're an ambassador and you're nearly
$750 a year.
You're nearly playing. You're that close to the team. You're nearly in at right wing. But the way I see Arsenal, they're on the right track now.
Yeah.
2 great signings, right? The manager stamped his foot down on Aubameyang, which sent a message to the whole squad. You can't turn up late. You can't come and train when you want to train. You can't play when you want to train. Off you go. So all the young lads now got examples around the place to actually go forward. But you can go back as far as Arsene Wenger. There were 18 contracts with 1 year left, and that's when Ozil and Sanchez were still at the club.
In a great position, yeah.
Getting ripped off in the transfer market, non-stop. Pepe, 72 million. There's an example.
But the only reason
they're on the right track now.
Yeah, the only reason they bought Pepe was because you can play yearly. So they was paying 15 million. They didn't have 70 million up front to pay for Zaha. I think they wanted Zaha, but Crystal Palace wanted it up front because they got to replace him.
What's happened to Pepe?
Was it Lyon or Lyon?
Well,
where was it come from?
I think
Lyon.
What I've seen so far in pre-season, he's having a go. But whether he's good enough is another matter.
Has he got the right attitude?
Well, the attitude's got to change, yeah. He's got to be more... I always say to young players, there's a couple of young players like Reece Nelson and people like that, you've got to believe in yourself that you're the best player. Now, you might have better players around you, but you've got to believe in yourself a little bit more. And that's what I think certain players don't do that. Yeah, I wasn't the best player, but I believed I was the best player. And that's probably why I played every week, because I made sure I go out there and give me all and try to do best for my team. I think
Arsenal have been just putting sticky plasters over wounds for a long time, signing talent and not attitude. So they end up with a load of players with a bad attitude.
The good thing about Edu, he was in good squads of when I was playing, and he knew how you win games of football. He knew the characters you needed in the squad itself. And I think they do look at that now a lot more. They look at the characters.
I like Martinelli, Ray.
Martinelli's brilliant.
I like
Odegaard.
Saka,
I mean, you see him in training, Odegaard. He's always on the ball. He's a real example that they love their football. They can't wait to get out in the training field. And that's what you want as a manager. You want players who are really hungry to train hard. And I've seen that when I was watching a couple of training sessions, you could see them really at it. And that's why they beat Chelsea 4-0, because they had that little bit more energy, and that's down to training.
Are we saying here that Chelsea, look, it's a one-off, 4-0, pre-season friendly? We're saying Chelsea might not make the top 4 here? We're saying that Arsenal and Spurs could pressure them?
I don't go by pre-season games, though. It's all about when it gets to the real matter. I mean, Friday night, Crystal Palace away, Arsenal. That's not an easy game. Selhurst Park. Be rocking. You know what they're like down at Selhurst Park. So I want to see the first 3 or 4 games and see how they act in the Premier League. It's like winning pre-season games when you're changing your team. Chelsea made substitutions. I want to see.
Have they learned, Ray? Last season, first game of the season, Brentford away.
Yeah.
Playing out from the back in the first 5 minutes, got caught twice, 2-0 down. Stadium's bouncing, like as if you didn't realise what to expect. So they're playing Palace on Friday night. No talent required, attitude. Who's got the best attitude?
Yep.
Can we keep a clean sheet against Palace? Because we'll score up the other end, but can we stop Palace scoring against us? I think that's been Arsenal's problem.
Well, I'm looking at the back 4. Obviously, Tommy Yasu's injured at the moment, right back, and Tierney's injured. So you're looking at, right, Zinchenko's perfect fit for the left back. Right back, I think they're going to go with Ben White. And do you know, Saliba's been good as well, centre half. He's a player, young player, 21, 22. He's on loan. Whether Arteta fancied him, but in pre-season, what I've seen, he's done really well, so he could be starting in a.
What about Mickey Pearce? He's still there.
Top four.
Mickey Pearce.
Top four right now.
Right now, I know there's 2 weeks to go, but I'd go Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea.
Oof, Arsenal not in the top 4, Ray.
I'll go City to win it. Liverpool, yeah, definitely. I think Arsenal got to try and aim for 3rd, yeah, definitely. That's going to be their aim this season. And I think if they can keep everyone fit, one more player coming in, then they've got a decent squad now. So I'm going to go 3rd for Arsenal.
Yeah, and 4th?
I think Spurs are going to be good as well this season. I think Chelsea might struggle. What I've seen of Chelsea, let's say make some signings. I mean, they might make a couple of big signings before the transfer window ends, and then suddenly you change your mind. I always look at you've got to wait till the first day when the transfer window closes and see what squads they've got.
I think the manager at Spurs is on a mission.
Well, they've got to win
Conte.
They've got to win a trophy this year, haven't they? That's a very important.
Anyway, the Premier League is back in just 10 days. We have exclusive commentary rights of Palace against Arsenal. Friday night football on August the 5th. Coming up 3 minutes to 8.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.